מוכן? I'm sitting here with Ernie Goldberger at the Tel Aviv Sheraton on February 23rd, 2017. Why don't you tell me where you were born, a little bit about your family growing up, where you came from.
I was born in Romania, 1927, June 9, and grown up and went to the Jewish community Cheder from age 3. We had very strong learning of Hebrew, of Yiddish and Hebrew. I mean, translating from Yiddish to Hebrew. Practically, I did not understand Yiddish and not Hebrew. But we learned 3 languages at one time. At that time, we spoke only Hungarian and Romanian. But sooner or later, you grow up, you hear this all talking. So I learned Yiddish, I learned Hebrew. Hebrew I didn't learn practically, but I learned Hebrew vocabulary a lot. That was very easy for me to adopt Hebrew when I came to Israel. Because I have thousands of words, vocabulary in Hebrew and also in Arabic and all that stuff. So I enjoyed really to learn Hebrew.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
I have a family of, we were a family of 5. I had 3 brothers, 4 brothers, and 3 brothers and a sister, and me. This was 5.
You were in the middle, or you were?
I was in a little bit in the middle, yeah, in the middle.
Okay.
And everybody, we lived a very good life that time because the Romanians were fairly good to the Jews. So they were not really anti-Semites. And my father was, he was occupied with making wine for the community, making, how you call it, baking the matzah for the community. But his main business was buying all kind of wild leaves from all over Romania, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia. And we had a mill machine in our yard, and he grinded them and he sent them to Germany or French to make for his medication. So that was his main business. My mother was in the wheat business. I was buying wheat from the public. And I was a little boy. I was buying chickens and eggs and shipping to the other city. And from age 10. So
you started in business at you were young.
Yeah, so we were all occupied very much in the Cheder, and we really didn't see the daylight much, you know, because from early in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning till 9:30 or 9 o'clock, we went to Hebrew school. After that, we went to the regular school. There was no Hebrew day school over there. And we came back from the day school 2:30 till 7 o'clock at night. We studied again in the Cheder, and sometimes it was scary to go home, dark, you know, but we got used to it. So it was a tough life, very tough life, but it's very pushy learning, you know. I mean, I memorized the plots of Gemara by heart, you know. I memorized all kind of stories by heart, you know. And that's the way they really wanted we should be. Because there was not much of educational system around there. Only this was the thing. I never saw a movie in my life over there up till age 13. Girls sometimes sneaked out and they went to movie, but boys, we were really chained to the yeshiva.
Do you remember your bar mitzvah?
Yes. Ronnie Besimchi Batzion nearby. I remember. I was, so I from one side I liked it, from the other side I felt like I am pushed very much down. So I became 1940, that was up till 1940 was a very normal, good life. 1940, Hitler gave a part of Romania, Transylvania, to the Hungarians, and the Hungarians marched in and they changed every law. They took my father's business away and they made a corporation, and my father had to work in his own factory. And, but that was a pain, but it was not the end. There was a start only. And, but it still made a good living. They paid something for the corporation. It was not so bad. 1944, Hitler, 1944, when in March, when Germany marched into Budapest and occupied the whole Transylvania and everything else completely occupied it, I happened to be in Budapest. I was always a little rebel. My father wanted I should go to yeshiva, so I went to the Satmar Rebbe, and I just didn't like it. They pulled my ears, they pulled my things. I had enough of that in the Cheder, so I walked home 15 miles, and regardless they liked it or not, and my father was mad, but I came back and I didn't like it. My mother always protected me, so then I went further to Budapest. I went further from there, learning in Budapest a trade by one of my father's cousins. My father's cousin had a big factory of jewelry in Budapest. And he came for a visit, and my father complained, look, I tried to make him a tailor, I tried to make him this, and I tried to make him that. And he refused, he didn't want to do that. And he was a very tough boy. So my father's cousin said, let me talk to him. You know, and he talked to me, he said, would you come with me to learn jewelry in Budapest? I said, sure, I really wanted to go out from that depressed atmosphere of learning, you know, of pushing. And I did agree, but I didn't like it. My uncle was a very wonderful guy, a very wealthy guy, but he was not religious. And my father thought he is kosher. I come there, I can't eat. I just could vomit, you know, to eat that tray of mice what they preparing. So I ate eggs, I ate this, I ate that. Then I made up my mind that Sheker Achito, I tell him that I really didn't want to be a jeweler. I just wanted to come out to this, and I would like to be a tool and die maker. And he said, why? You're doing very good, you are here. And you know, he was sending me to deliver all kind of jewelry to the high Jewish area like Beverly Hills and Budapest Bathhouse. So, and I got always a lot of tringelt, you know. So I have always plenty of money. He said, why are you happy? I said, I want to learn a trade what I like, what I can work, you know. And he put me into a Jewish home, or it's like Ort, was a Jewish institution, a few like that was in Budapest. And we were 50, 60 kids in that home. We had a doctor degree, Dr. Einhorn was our manager, and we lived 4 people in a room in a double bed, and then we had everybody had a single bed, but parquet. It was very, very elegant living. At home I didn't have hot water like I had there, you know, over there we had hot water, we had everything else. So I was happy that I got there. So, but how I got there, I asked my uncle that I want to go there. Well, he said, no problem, but you have to promise me you're going to work for me Shabbat and Sunday. Because he wanted I should deliver the goods. I had no choice just to agree to work Shabbos evening or Sunday morning for him, but I did. And he put me into the home. He was on the board of the Jewish Federation. So for me it was easy to get in for me there. Then I find out that all this was organized with all the Zionist organizations, Dror, Habonim, Shomer HaTzair, Tzionim Klalim, you name it, was there, Bnei Akiva, everything else. And we were, but even though all these differences of the organization and the philosophy of thinking, we were all kosher, we were all religious. So that was a completely different story. So I was very happy, and I was really in a tremendous good atmosphere. So we worked a half a day in a factory, and a half a day we studied on that place, on the institution. And we had tremendous care, clean. Oh, sure, we had to wax every morning the floor. We have to clean like an army, you know. No, not really, not easy. But I was used to it. I liked that atmosphere. So I was there till the Germans came in. The Germans came in. The organization knew that I speak Hungarian and Romanian, and they wanted me I should work on the transfer of Jews from Hungary to Romania. I should be a smuggler, smuggle the Jews. They felt that I am a good representative, and they never knew that I am Jewish. I had Jewish papers. I had a Catholic paper. Nobody knew. Kutni Pista was my Hungarian name. My Kutni Stefan was my Romanian name. It's the same thing. So it went very well, everything, till finally I got tired of going over the border, and because I was caught one at the border with a piece of bread, transferring papers for the Jewish people who were in the Munkatábor, in the working army of Hungarian working army. They indicted the Jewish people, but they didn't take them to concentration camp. They were working for the Hungarians, digging that. And I brought them some papers. And once I was caught, you know, but I was always very clever to get out from everything. And I told the guy, the police, oh, I just got from that Jew $30, like, and I show him the money. And to bring him that bread, he took the money and said, get the hell out of here. So I saw they already know me by the border. Now it's time that I should skip. So I skipped to Romania, and I arrived to Arad. And I was leading 3 people, one a Polish guy and one a Hungarian guy, and me, I was in the middle because I spoke Romanian. Anything happened, I should be doing. The Hungarian passed and arrived to the Jewish Federation of Arad, and the little guy was caught, so but he was pointing on me, and they came after me, and they brought me there too. But I told them I'm Romanian, so they treated me completely differently. They put me in a day room, and the other guy was put a little bit in a smaller area, but was not, they gave him food, was no any panic over there in Romania. This was a few days I was there. Then we had an uncle, not an uncle, my father had a cousin, Dr. Goldberger in Arad. He was the head of doctor of the community there. And he heard that the Goldberger got caught from the Hungarian guy. And he right away came to following day, came to, 2 days later, he came to the doctor, to Lieutenant Albu in Arad, and the lieutenant couldn't tell him he want to take me out for Shabbat. But he didn't know who is Goldberger. And he was screaming, Goldberger, Goldberger, Goldberger. I said, I am Goldberger, so what can I do? What can happen? What case sera, you know, so I said right away that I'm Goldberger. And he went to the thing and he came to me, kissed me. Yeah, your son? I said, yes. So and he took me home for Shabbat. He couldn't take the other guy, but he had to promise him he's going to bring me back Monday. Monday morning I'm coming back. He gives me a spank, mild. He said, I don't hit you because you're Jewish. I hit you because you lied to me. So I said, what can I do? What would you do if you would be before dead? They killed your parents. You know, I just told him. He understands that they were not anti-Semite. So, but they all told us that if we were caught in Romania, nobody is danger because they're going to take him to a camp called Târgu Jiu, which is close to the central Romania, Petroșani, all those big areas. And I was over there, and I felt myself, what can be? I gotta go to the camp. So I saw there thousands of kids, Jewish kids, from all over, from Hungary, from Yugoslavia, from Romania. And they all had the barracks, like an army barrack, but they all had plenty of food, everything else. The only thing what they had, they looked all day long to the sun. There was nothing there, you know. So I was restless there too. So I made myself, I fell down from bed a week later or so on. And they had to take me into Petroșani, to a city, to a doctor. So I'm coming to the doctor, and the doctor knew right away, they verstehen krank. He said right away that they don't know what you have. I'll tell them what you have, you know. But don't worry. He gave me right away to win. Was a Jewish guy. So I was already happy that he checked me, and he said, and he gave a letter that he's very sick and we have to be taking care of him and so on. And I had all kind of money sold in from my uncle from Arad, from the headquarters in Budapest. I had plenty of money with me always to bribe, to give. And but what I do here now, so I tell them, listen, now we have to celebrate that I feel now better. I was a doctor. Let's have a good coffee, a good tea, this and that, you know. And over there was only Korschmas. That's like we drink together, those little Bushkiller restaurant, you know. It was also soft drink, and so they sit down, so they started to think, one drink, two drink, three drink. And I saw already it's getting a bit those. So I told them I have to go to the toilet. So I went, and I disappeared, and I took the train to Bucharest. Then I arrived to the Jewish community in Bucharest. I didn't know Bucharest. But again, I saw people in the street, and I saw Jewish look. So I said, talked to him Yiddish, and he said, noch mehr, follow me. And when he puts the hand out, I know that he means, we knew already all the signals what's going to be. They're going to follow me, they're going to take me wherever necessary. So that's what happened. We arrived there, they were very happy that I arrived. How did you escape? I said, I did escape. Look, what can I do? And that was the main effect where I got a little bit very tough on myself, but I had to do what I had to do.
Where were your parents at this point?
My parents were already taken to concentration camp and immediately after Pesach. They closed them up into the shul for 2-3 days, and they walked them to another city 20 kilometers by foot. And kids and everything, everybody else, the whole community, all destroyed. My mother, my brother, 3 brothers. My sister remained alive after the war. She was 22 kilo when she was released from the Germans, and she was in Sweden in concentration on her back in a hospital. I did not know she's alive 1 year. After 1 year, she woke up. She remained my uncle. She remembered my uncle's name in America, and she wrote to my uncle, and I wrote to my uncle. But I was not in camp, so thank God I had enough of memory that time.
So you managed to, the rest of the war you stayed, you weren't sent to a camp or anything the rest of the war? You were not sent the rest of the war?
Yeah.
You were free,
I had no more war. Mm-hmm. But then 1944, around July, 3 ships went out from Constanța, from Romania to Turkey. And I was on one of those ships.
How'd you get onto one of the ships?
What?
How'd you arrange that?
I did not arrange it, the organization arranged it. They transferred us from Budapest, from Bucharest to Constanța.
This is Aliyat Hanoar? This was...
That's not only Aryeh, that's what from the Zionist organizations they were. Your Palgi, or all those people, Panasanesh. That was all Kastner. That's all arranged. See, the Kastner story bugs me a little bit, because I think he was a tzaddik, not a murderer.
Did you ever see him?
Yes. You see, the only crime he had that he saved his family first. I would do the same, if I could. So he doesn't deserve to be killed for that. So why didn't you take mine? What this, why that, you know? But people קנאה טהבה מעביר את דעתו של אדם מהעולם, נכון? אז זה מה שקורה בימים האלה. And I was very anxious to work always honestly. And I arrived to Palestine in 1944.
So first you went to Turkey?
What?
You took a boat?
Turkey. From Turkey we came with a train to Haifa,
You came by train?
to Syria, to Lebanon. We came with a train, and the British gave us milk and tea with milk at every station, and a little food or this or that. So it was interesting. They took care. The British was very well. We came legally. We got the legal papers in Turkey because they had 1800 certificates. And we fell into the certificate. And how you say, we can thank Our Lady Henrietta Toll that she paid for all of us in the kibbutzim to keep us and to train us to become honorable citizens. And
Let me ask you a question. Did you, before that,
Yeah.
do you remember when you were growing up, did you talk about Eretz Israel or Zionism?
in my town, anybody who spoke Eretz Israel in a tribe and a land, the rabbis were tremendous anti-Zionist. My father was a mitnaget. You know what a mitnaget? So he was never that. He had even a problem with one of the ants. We had an ant which was a Lilliput, you know. And she opened a kosher restaurant. And she had a shaitel, and she was from. And the Satmar Rebbe asked her the shchita, what she had, because she belonged to a different sect. There was Repabish and Reb Yoelish. There was two. And I remember that they were biting the finger off on each other, the two rabbis. They were not really, in my opinion, educated in learning, but not educated in menschlichkeit. You understand? That's what was missing, because how could they deny? And you see, the Satmar Rebbe ran away after that with Kastner shipment, and he left all those people who he promised he studied a tribe and a land to save himself. So what kind of idiot is this? So that question was really, I was working in the port of Haifa at that time when he arrived, and his own people wanted to kill him. If not, the British wouldn't take him to London. He would be killed over there. And he deserved it.
When you heard that you were going to Palestine, what did you think? Were you nervous, excited?
We knew we were going to Palestine. We were, our desire was already by the Tiyunut that we're going to go to Palestine. We already 3 or 4 years, 41, 42, 43, 44. Already we were talking always of Eretz Israel. We learned some words, we learned some vocabulary, we learned signals, Hebrew. So we were trained. That was the real Zionistic school. And I'm happy that I got out from the real Haredi mess, you know. And that's why I survived. I was supposed to go back home. My brother was with me in Budapest. She was learning to be a dentist. And he went back for Pesach. I told him, the Zionist organization told me, you cannot go back because you're not going to come back alive. And I told him, and he took his chance, and he never came back. So now, Chapet et avicha v'et imecha, but you know, you have to have also a brain of your own, because it's not always know what can happen. And I loved my mother like my father. They were I played chess with my father always. I studied with my father. he was learning, he was in yeshiva, in the Pressburg yeshiva. So he was a brilliant man, but he was not Haredi. He was just a good, like me and you know.
So when you arrived by train,
Yeah.
do you remember what it was like when you first got
Where?
in Palestine?
Oh, when we arrived, we were kissing the earth to see all those things going through. And when they told us this is Israel, we were happy. Oh, we are in a home. And that's what we wanted to be. We wanted to build Israel. We came here to build the country. We came here to start the Medina. And I said when they killed my parents, I'm going to take Nekume on the Goyim and do everything else to save my people. And I was fighting like hell in the war of liberation too. I didn't go for nothing.
Where'd you go when you got here? When you got off the train? Where'd they take you to?
To Kibbutz Afikim. Kibbutz Afikim I was in Aliyat Noah 2 years. And Kibbutz Afikim was one of the nicest kibbutz in the world. I mean, I never saw other kibbutzim before, but at that time it was the nicest kibbutz in Israel. And I loved it very much because since I had a trade of tool and die maker, everyone went to work on the Sadeh, and they asked me right away to work in the machine shop. So, and I saw they bringing in Arabs from Tiberias, they bringing in Arabs from Yafo. I knew 10 times better to work on the Machreta, to make big things than they knew. So they right away saw I weld, I do this, I that. So I was building in the kibbutz also. I made all the lulim in the kibbutz. Lulim, you know, for the chickens. And I fixed all the machines of their machines. I worked in Kelet to fix the machinery over there. Kelet was the factory who manufactures plywood and masonite. And I was doing both places. So they really liked me very much. So when I came out from the army, I called them out that I am now in civil, and can I have some plywood? You couldn't get plywood, it would stand on your neck. But I got a load of plywood, free, just usherke. In the Palmach I was, again, they knew that I'm a mechanic, so even in the Haganah, before the Palmach, I was always fixing machines, fixing guns, fixing this, fixing that. They always relied me from the Haganah and from the authorities to do that.
So when did you, first was when you were in the kibbutz, were you religious?
No. I was, at the beginning we were religious, but then they make a joke of us, and they, what you need this, what this, that, And I, even though Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, they had a little shul there for the old people, and I went to Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur because I just couldn't take it not to go. But you wouldn't believe it that even those other kids were so fun for having a little more religion that they put lalach, like how you say, the sheet covers on their head, and we davened like that. Really. But this was, we were kids, we grew up till age of 18, till I was in the army in the Palmach. I hardly davened.
So when did you join?
Then I saw we won the war in '48. Then I said, this is now, don't tell me now nothing. This is not a miracle. This is the hand of God. This is really to win against 7 countries with the little ammunition that we had. It was really much more than just a plain miracle. And then I turned to be more religious. And then I started slowly. Then I married. I wanted to have a religious home. And my wife comes from where you come from? No, how you call it?
What?
How you call the organization you work? You belong to the youth organization.
Where? The Aguda?
Aguda. So it was Agudis. No, I made her a mother Orthodox. So finally, we are married 58 years. So we worked together all along. When I was a teacher, she was correcting the books for the teachers. When I was in the diamond business, she runs all the finances and everything else. So it's a real part of my life.
So when did you join you started in the Haganah, you said?
The Haganah, when I joined the Haganah, every kibbutz was a Haganah. The kibbutz were repairing, they all had some ammunition from the British, like Shotrim. They were all, getting paid for the British, but they were Haganah practically, But they were like Shotrim, like police officers. So, but all those things have to be repaired, and some of them we cut them, we made from the stand. The stand, we cut them three pieces. We made 3 stands from it. We did all kind of other things. And then they, probably the headquarters of the Palmach divided the manufacturing of things in many places. I was in charge of the flicks in a few places. Nobody knew my name. My name was Usher Kedanashak, and nobody knew anything else. And till the end of my career, I was in a shock. So my dargah was supposed to be a Seren, but I was but I think I came out with the second because I was not commissioned Seren. But it doesn't matter the organization. I was in charge of all the ammunition of Harel. So
it's now 1945 when you joined when did you start? When you started working more in the Haganah, and then did you go to school?
1945. 1945, they called me that they need to do some work, and I went. And then they asked me to join the Palmach, and I joined voluntarily the Palmach. And I wanted to fight for the country. And I was in all the pulot of the Palmach. We were there when the Mufti was brought in, We bombed the Kesher Allenby there.
You were involved in the...
Yeah, I was there when we got in a British camp in Seraph and all the things, to take out our machinery. I was nearly in everything I was there.
How did you feel when you heard that the war was over in Europe?
Where?
When the war ended in Europe, and you were in
I was here in Israel.
Yeah, and you heard. Did you think that things were going to change with the British? What do you think was going to happen?
No, when I look, we had in mind Israel. We knew we have to take the British out from here. It was not really Besheket, we were speaking about it all the time. How can we take him out from here? Because they were really a little one-sided. They gave the Arabs a lot more than they gave us. So, הכל בשעתו, ברוך השם הגיעה השעה שלנו, ואנחנו עשינו את שלנו.
So which תולדות were you involved in? You said the Leil HaGesharim with the Allenby, Gesher
Yeah, and
Allenby?
also from moving, also breaking in the British camps for ammunition and so on. I was all involved in all that.
Did you know people from your hometown that were also involved?
I know people who were with me in the kibbutz, who we were in the Palmach with me together.
Did you have any family in Palestine?
I had here some family who were here already 30 or 20 years before the war. And I did not know, happened to be that he was a manager of he owned a gas station in Hadara Carmel. Kahana is he comes from the same area where Siegel comes from Wiesel. And was a brilliant guy too. He and his brothers, they already lived in Israel 30 or 40 years before. And I did not know he's a relative. But then I was in the kibbutz with a guy, Moshe Davidovich. And that Moshe Davidovich, the only one I was fighting with him in my kibbutz was Moshe Davidovich. And one day I'm getting a letter from my uncle from New York. Why don't you go visit your cousin in Hadara Carmel? So I go there, Moshe gives him gas at the gas station. He skipped the kibbutz to go there to give gas. And I went to the Palmach. What you doing here, Moshe? I said, I'm working for my cousin. Who is your cousin? So finally, he's a cousin too. So this is it's a little world. So anyway, we became after that the best friends. He lives in New York. He worked in a ship and he became expert of audiology. And he had a factory for hearing aid, things like that. He's doing well too. He did well. Now he's not anymore doing it.
So you're in the Palmach, and what? I'm trying to think. What now? It's up. It's 1946, 47. Do you remember other events, other things that were happening at the time?
I remember a lot, but I don't. My memory does not really click.
Any of the refugees that were coming?
No. I know he's coming. The refugees from Iran, from Tehran, the Tehran Aryeh, Tehranit came. And they joined the kibbutz too, and some of them they came to our kibbutz Atikim. And we were Noar Waf, and they became Noar Zion. And we met them, and we intermingled with them, and a lot of kids. I remember a lot of people went to the Jewish brigade. I wanted to go there too, but I was too young to go that time, so I didn't go. And it was a real honor to go to fight against the Nazis. The Jewish brigade came, those guys brought a lot of ammunition, which we took them, we got it in, and we repaired it, we fixed it, we made from it good ammunition. And they did a lot of good work for the Haganah.
You were in Harel, you said?
Yeah,
Yitzhak Rabin?
Yitzhak Rabin, we had all of them there.
Did you know him?
Yeah, sure. I even took him home a lot of times in the airport in Los Angeles,
Oh, yeah?
but he came to talk. No, we were very good friends.
אני אשאל שאלה. אני אשאל בעברית, אבל תמשיך באנגלית. אתה זוכר מה קרה באפיקים בשבת השחורה, בבלק שבת?
I remember that when there was a big, they went into all, they went into Yagur. מה?
הוא אומר שהוא בא בשמונה.
אוקיי, תראי למטה לרגע. They went to שבת השחורה, זה היה מאוד קשה, כי נכנסו לכל הקיבוצים.
In English.
They went to all these kibbutzim, and they turned over. For me, it was even a heartbreaking because I was in a shock. I knew where they are, and I didn't want to be caught too. And we had in Yagur, and we had in near Haifa, we had they went everywhere. They broke up the things, and we resisted very badly. We didn't like it, definitely, but we tried to do everything they should not catch up. We always had an Ismaili and an Emes. You know what means Ismaili and Emes? We had only a fake one and a real one. So we told them the fake one. You know, we didn't tell anything else. So we were taught very well to be quiet and not to talk and not to give out the information. And I can tell you, I do the same thing in the diamond business. You know. Nobody knows who I sell. I sell the next door neighbor. Nobody knows. That's what they like, you know. So, Yad HaChaim B'Lashon is written in the Torah. So, and I just believe that it's not a plain word, but it's really emet. In the Lashon, you can destroy yourself and you can help yourself.
When you arrive in the kibbutz in 44,
Yeah.
did the Israeli, the Eretz Israelis guys, did they ask you what happened to you, what's going on in
No,
Europe?
we had in kibbutz Afikim, we had a very dear person. He's from, he comes from Russia somewhere. He's a Lutvak. He was one of the best teachers we ever had in life. Not only a teacher, but a father for the kids. They gave us such a home feeling, like a real home. And anything they can do for us, they did. So I only can tell you that Kibbutz Afikim was a Gan Eden for kids after the war. And probably all the kibbutzim were, because when the people went out to the Fatzadeh, they took the kids with them and showed them and teach them and gave them food galore. They had a big Chazar Okel 3 times as big as this one. And they ate. Kibbutz Afikim had 1,000 members. 1,000 members. Can you believe it? They were eating in 2 sects, two times.
Did people want to know? Did people want to know what happened in Europe? Did people ask questions?
They know what happened, but nobody wanted to talk about it. It was very painful to remember, you know. I personally never bought a German product in my life. Since then, I never stepped my foot in Germany. When I was supposed to go over Germany, I skipped to other places. I say Israel did right that took the compensation somewhere, at least something we took out from them. But really, you can't forget killing 6 million people just because they were Jewish or just because they were practically. We built the economy in every country. Jewish people built the economy in every country. Jewish people lived and everything falling apart. They're asking you now French to come back. They're asking you now in Hungary to come back. They ask you, why where were they when the parents were taken? Well, they didn't say 2 words. The hell with them. We need our country. We need Medinat Israel. We need to be a free country. We need to be loyal to our citizens, number one. And I never believed to give back anything at the beginning. And they gave it. So you see what's happening with the giving? The Arabs are like the gypsies. You give them a finger, they want the whole hand. So that's all what it is.
אני אגיד לך כמה שעות כשספר על הפציעה, איפה זה קרה, אני לא זוכר אם נשק, אבל הייתי כתבות הנשק מצ'כיה.
First, do you remember November 29th, 1947, with the UN vote?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. זה היה צהלה, חביבי. I was in Yerushalayim, in Ramat Rachel. We were dancing. Ooh, wow.
Why were you in Ramat Rachel?
What?
Why were you in Ramat Rachel?
Because the Ramat Rachel, the Palmach was there.
So you were already. When did you move to? When were you?
We moved everywhere. We were not there. See, I was even in Sheikh Mounès, repairing ammunition when the ammunition came from Czechoslovakia. I was in charge to clean the ammunition, to put them in shape, Beta, MJ, Schwarzloader, all that stuff.
So was it exciting when it came?
What?
Was it exciting when the ammunition came from Czechoslovakia? What was the feeling like?
No, they bought it in Czechoslovakia. See, the Russians allowed the Czechs to sell the ammunition. Otherwise, we would never get it. The Russians thought maybe they were going to be communists. But Jewish people, it's hard to be communist, you know. So they mistaking that we wanted to be communist. We had some communists in Kibbutzim, yeah. They Mikonist, or what his name, Mikonist something. Big communist for many years. And, but our aim is Medinat Israel, לחזור למדינה נורמלית.
So when the ammunition came, you were in charge of taking care of it, and
Now you can see there on the paper. You saw the paper. I was in charge of all the Haganah. Technically, I did all the things. I was doing Helkei, Duvetke also. You know, I was a Charat. You know what means? I was making special designs with the machines. And I was here, I was there, I was everywhere. And I did whatever they were asked. I was just a good soldier. And I'm happy I did. And even my granddaughter is now, my granddaughter today graduated from the army. She was a Modi'in. And so I asked her, why you joined the army? But she was studying at the University of Yerushalayim, Hebrew University. She was studying there, I think מקרא ועוד some דברים, archaeology and all kind of stuff. And she joined, by age 23, she joined the army. She didn't have to go to the army. They leave. The father is chief cardiologist of University of Miami, 3 hospitals. And she joined the army and she became a citizen. And so they, you know what he told the father, I want to do what somebody. So I was a good thing. And now my other granddaughter gonna come, my third granddaughter wanna come. For me, practically outside of Israel, I did more for Israel than I did for anything else. I built a Jewish community, Beit Jacob, and Rabbi Vayanov, and Young Israel was my push. I was the president of the OU of the West Coast. I was head of the Betar movement. For a while I became a Betarnik from Mapainik. Can you believe it? So, because I believe in the thing. So I took over the whole organization. They had not even a guy. I was doing my business and running the organization. I was able to run many organizations. I was assistant manager of the Bureau of Jewish Education in Los Angeles. I think I was in the Bureau of Jewish Education some 15, 20 years.
Let's go back to Ramat Rachel.
Yeah.
So in Ramat Rachel, was Musa Yarkoni there?
Ramat Rachel was a kibbutz.
Yeah.
And yeah, in Ramat Rachel, we were just stationed near Ramat Rachel for army. So we ate there in the Chadar Ochel, we did and that, but we never, not really members.
But for when the battle was in Ramat Rachel, were you there or were you elsewhere?
We were all over.
You were all over.
We were all over. We were one day even in the north.
When did you get wounded?
Now when the Derek Burma opened in June, at the same time I was transferring ammunition from Sheikh Munis to Harel and to the other groups. And I went on a mine.
Where?
Near Ramat Rachel somewhere, close to Ramat Rachel. And I woke up in Beit Holim Dejani 2 or 3 days later, and then they transferred me to Tel HaShomer.
When was that? That was in June of 48.
Yeah, that.
After the state was.
Yeah. So they mistreated me in Kupat Holim. The army treated well because there was a South African army, Dr. Kaplan, who operated on my nose, on my nose. See, all my teeth is not mine. And my nose was cut, and here was cut, and I had plenty scars on my neck. You see there, and that was the biggest one. Lifted. Now lifted here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And they said that they didn't want it to fix it. They said in the Kupat Cholim, yeah, you need luckily that I was a strong guy and I hope I had pain, but I was able to suffer 6-7 years. I remained like this, I remained like that. And I had always problem with my neck, with my body. I couldn't lift my hand. This was nothing. I didn't get all this nothing. I got 20% on my, 27% on my hearing loss. And I got 20% on that I am talking into myself that I am sick. You know, that because I was wounded, I feel that I am sick. So I figured I never believed that I'm a psychiatric problem because my head always worked. So how could I be? You know? And so I called my uncle in New York. My uncle said, "Send me a ticket." And I took a letter from Misad HaBitachon, and I took a letter from Ikud HaNechim. And I went there, and since I am a Gibor Israel, they took me like a king by the Jewish community.
What year was that?
56.
So where'd you go after? Did you go back to the kibbutz after the War of Independence?
I tell you, I did not want to go back to the kibbutz because I outgrew the kibbutz. You see, my kibbutz is in Nachsholim. They went to Nachsholim. And they gave me as a michsa. You understand? They were not in the army. I was the only one who they left me in the army. You know, I mean, the kibbutz. So I said, if so, I will be in the army, I'll be on my own. I didn't feel any more loyalty to the kibbutz.
So where'd you go back to?
I was in Haifa. I right away got a job in Sokoni Vacuum for my cousin. Arranged me, and I made there the machines of Sokoni Vacuum. I made fixed pumps and that. And then I got from Misad HaBitachon with two ktinim, not three nechim and two ktinim. We got a garage in Haifa that belonged to the British Spinners garage. And I am a mechanic, so I was working there, and but I worked 2 years and I never got nothing. And even though the Misad HaBitachon gave us money, the Katinim pocketed everything away. We were young kids, we didn't know much, you know. So that's what happened. So I told my cousin, look what happened. Oh, you work with this gangster, happened to be a gangster, the Misad HaBitachon put him in charge. So anyway, I pulled out my money from the garage, and I bought a shikun in Bat Galim. And I had a nice shikun in Bat Galim, and I worked in the port of Haifa. Right away I got a job in port. I joined the Histadrut, and they called me Sug Aleph mechanic, you know, so I got a high rating. And sooner or later I became a foreman in the machine shop. Later on, before I left, I was already in charge of part of the machine shop. I was always on the top of things. You know. I never remember when I was down. Baruch Hashem. So this is the story.
Were there people that you met when you were during those years that later on went on to be, I don't know, politicians or?
Look, I never went for politician. I went always for tzedek Tirdov. Eskrav. You know who Rabbi Weil calls me? Tzedek Tirdov. Because even in the shul, anybody wanted to do anything. I was a vice president of Beis Jacob for 25 years. And I didn't want to be a president, never, because I was not 100% sure. I'm a Shabbos, you know. I didn't really feel, and I didn't want to sign checks or this or that, you know. I just wanted to do the work and that's it. But I had to do a lot of running, Beis Jacob. You understand? I hired Rabbi Weil. So I brought him many rabbis, many places.
Do you smoke cigars?
Who?
Do
Yeah.
you?
Oh, I went to his shiurim. I didn't smoke. I don't. But I went to his shiurim because he is so brilliant. He's unbelievable. You know, I loved his good life, good heart, you know. They were good friends with my son too. My son is also the oculoplastic surgeon. He left oculoplastic surgeon and he became one of the chief for a company still $2.5 billion assets who are building now ophthalmology institutions all over the United States. And my son became the chief, the president of that company. So he was working by himself. They gave him $300,000 start plus $300,000 commission. So not so bad.
Not so bad.
No, but I told you, very brilliant. Both my grandchildren too. I have a grandson just finished computer science, the other computer engineering, the other another kind of engineer. I have already a 25-year-old girl. She's 2 years already a doctor. And she married last year, married a guy, not from, but became from. And they live in New York. And one of her sisters will join the army. The other one going to join this year, going to come here. She's 22-year-old, she's not going to go to the army. But she's already an engineer. She went she's the expert of making the clean water.
Wow.
She's already brilliant.
All right. This was amazing. Thank you very much. This was very interesting.
I hope I said enough.
You did.
The Palmach, I didn't speak about it much, you know, because I tell you, it's such a lovely. I was today when they honored my granddaughter. I asked General, מה דעתך, שאני כמה מילים? או בטח, אני שמח שאתה תגיד. So I said, listen, I'm very happy to see you here. You know, I see you look exactly vibrant like I was in the Palmach. And keep on being a nice Safta, work together, Laman Medilat Israel. You know, I'm very much encouraging many people. But they invited me all kind of places. But I am really even today, 89 and a half, and I'm still working.
Well,
And I'm going to meetings of every shul. But what can I do?
thank you.
It's not that I like politics, I just like tzedek, tirdot. And I don't like anything that I what's happening sometimes in this. You know, when somebody gave a lot of donation by us, and then we find out that he robbed a whole community of money. I went and I tore down all his curtains. I said, this is not kosher. So we went, we cleaned out his name from there, and then we put them back because it was very nice. It was a shame to throw it away, but no more his name. I don't want name there unless it's with tzedek. Right? Kibbutznik, what can I do? So anyway, if you are in Los Angeles, come and visit me.
I will. Well, let me tell you what's going to happen now.
Huh?
We're gonna take a